All right, I'm gonna fix this camera real quick. I feel like it's summer. We're in June. Warming up. Man, I feel like it's been hot. This last week when it was super hot. It was really cute. Threw the baby in the pool for the first time. It was cute. It was really cute. If I had pictures, I'd give them to you, but I don't because I live in the moment, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure that my wife has photos. But anyway, okay. We're gonna start a new teaching series on the Sermon on the Mount, but really just specifically we're going to look at the Beatitudes. Let me read them, and then I'm going to give a ton of good context, and then we're just going to quickly look at the first one. So here we go. Now it's Matthew chapter 5, starting at verse 1, and I'm going to read all the way to verse 12. So here we go. Now when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on the mountain and sat down, and his disciples came to him and he began to teach them. He said this. So the opening of the Sermon on the Mount. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of things against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." So here's some context, and then let me just teach that first one. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So the Beatitudes, they're the opening line of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, right? Essentially what the Sermon on the Mount is Jesus kind of giving an echo to Moses's receiving the law on Mount Sinai. So when Moses gets the law on Mount Sinai, the 10 Commandments, and he kind of reads them over the people, and he creates the law of Moses, right? This is Jesus kind of this is his manifesto, essentially. This is all of the things that he wants you to know as a follower of him. And if you notice, when you read the whole Sermon on the Mount, you'll notice he's always upping the ante. He's always upping the ante, and he's flipping people's mindsets and changing how they view what the Messiah came to do. So the Beatitudes, they come from the Latin word, which is beatus, which basically literally means blessed. But it's really hard to describe because the word for blessed in the Beatitudes is not the same word for blessing that you would find throughout the rest of the scriptures, right? The rest of the scriptures, it's bless God, or God is going to bless you. Those are different. That's actually a different word than the word blessed here. The word for blessed in the original language in Greek, it's hard. We don't have an English word to describe it, but it's not just happiness or blessedness, but it's this deep well-being and approval from God and from your community. The best way, honestly, to translate this word, scholars agree, is the word congratulations. So think about that when you read this. When you read the Beatitudes, listen to what Jesus is saying. Blessed are you who are poor in spirit. He's saying, congratulations. Congratulations. You're weak. You're discouraged. You're lacking passion. Congratulations, because you're going to inherit my kingdom. And then he goes on. Congratulations for mourning. Congratulations. It's that huge. It's it would be the word that they use in the Greek. It would be describing someone walking in to their retirement party, and everyone's congratulations, you did it. That's the word that Jesus is using. Congratulations. your family member passed away, your buddy died, like, congratulations. You're going to be comforted for that. Congratulations for being meek. Congratulations for being someone who seems weak and doesn't have power. Because congratulations, you're going to inherit the earth. Congratulations for those who have this like deep hunger and thirst for righteousness, meaning right relationship with God and right relationships with other people. Congratulations for having this aching in your body for injustice. Because you're going to be filled. Congratulations for showing mercy. Congrats. In a world where people don't show mercy, congratulations. You've done it. Like, congratulations for being pure in heart. Congratulations for being a peacemaker. Congratulations for being persecuted, for being gossiped and slandered against for me. Because you're going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. So you see, like, you can imagine when Jesus opens up his Sermon on the Mount with congratulations to all of these, specifically the first four being completely negative things, people are probably like, this is insane. Now, who he's talking to is important. Who he's talking to is he's talking to oppressed Jewish people under Roman occupation. So he is talking to people who are poor in spirit. He is talking to people who are mourning. He is talking to people who are meek. He's talking to people who have this longing to see the wrong made right. Right? He's talking to these people. And what he's doing is he's resetting the stage. He's essentially saying, for years you've understood it this way, that the Jewish people were going to have a political Messiah who was going to come overthrow the Roman Empire and restore like national glory. I think they literally still believe that. Jewish people still believe that. But Jesus is literally flipping it on their heads. He's saying, no, congratulations. This is what the kingdom of heaven looks like. It's marked by humility and mercy, purity in heart, suffering for those who are less fortunate. He's challenging the Roman view of power, the American view of power as well, and also religious pride. So, here's why they matter. The Beatitudes are not entrance requirements to the kingdom of heaven, right? They're not proverbs. They're not like these quippy sayings that always come true, right? Because like, just think about it this way. Like, if you're meek, you don't always inherit the earth, right? Like, think about that. Like, think about who gets a promotion at work. Is it the person who's meek? Is it the person who's like gets stepped on, who's very humble and reserved and quiet and kind of like doesn't speak up and isn't loud, but yeah, inside they have this like burning desire for, justice in the workplace and they're smart, intelligent leaders. Like, no, that's not who inherits the earth or who gets the promotion. Who gets the promotion is the guy who's charismatic, loud, and works hard and is tall or whatever. Like, you think about it, like so these aren't proverbs, right? What these are is it's a portrait. That's what Jesus is trying to show you. It's a portrait of a kingdom citizen. So there is a common misunderstanding amongst Christians. I don't think it's everybody, because I don't think it's all of you, where people believe that, Jesus came to get us to go to heaven. And as much as that's like kind of true, it's not entirely true. Because really what Jesus came for was to bring heaven back down to earth, right? Originally, we were together in the Garden of Eden, God and man walking side by side, and it was separated because of sin. And so now, this is when Jesus kind of inaugurates his life ministry, his ministry on earth with the Sermon on the Mount. He's going, let me paint the picture of what heaven and earth colliding look like. And it looks like this. It looks like this. Congratulations. You are the less fortunate. You are the oppressed. You are the downtrodden. You are the mourning. You are inheriting the kingdom of earth. So, here we go. That's the background. A lot of background, but it's good background. because it sets us up for what we're about to experience. So first one, and I'll keep it short because I'm already over my desired time for this video. So, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. At first glance, it sounds like a bad thing, because it is. Like, think about it. Being weak, discouraged, lacking passion, it literally means poverty, right? Like, it means poor in spirit, poor in like impoverished in my spirit, desperately desiring God, but it also literally means someone who's poor, someone who doesn't have a lot of money, someone who's having a difficult time in life. And he's saying, congratulations, yours is the kingdom of heaven. And what he's doing is he's flipping the script. He's saying being weak and discouraged, lacking passion, right? Being poor in spirit, having this impoverished heart after God, and even an impoverished heart for the stuff of this world. He's saying that's the beginning point of blessing, because when we are poor, when we have less than, you recognize this deep desire and need for God. I mean, think about this, right? Like, we always talk about this amongst our ministry staff, and when people ask me like, what's it like doing ministry in Danville? I go, they're not poor, and that means that they don't have any needs, because they can meet their needs with financial ways, right? And so because they don't have a financial need, they don't realize they have a need for God, who's their provider for all things. And so having this, so what makes it difficult for us is we aren't this person, right? Like, we're not often impoverished. Some of us are. But we can be, and it takes us a little bit harder to recognize, we can be poor in our we can recognize that we are poor in our relationship with God and with our need for God. And so it takes a little bit more work for us to get there, because we don't have these physical needs. And we don't need God to be a physical provider in many ways, but we do have a spiritual need. And so Jesus says, if you can recognize, if you can if you can look at the portrait of a kingdom citizen and say, oh, that's me, I need God, then yours is the kingdom of heaven. We live in an American concept, right? Like that American mantra, the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right? Like we don't have the words of Jesus ringing in our ear. Like, oh, I don't have a big house. Well, blessed are, like, congratulations, yours is the kingdom of heaven. Oh, I don't have a lot of stuff. Oh, congratulations. Oh man, I've been weak. I've been mourning. I'm hungering and thirsting for the wrong to be made right. It's like, well, congratulations. Like, no, that's not the narrative that plays in our head. The narrative that plays in our head is we need to be self-sufficient. We need to build ourselves up from the bottom to the top. We need to make more money. We need to get more stuff. We need to have better cars. We need to have a bigger boat. We need to have a prettier wife. Like, that's the narrative that gets played. And Jesus is saying, that's not my narrative. That's not it. My narrative is to say the kingdom of heaven begins not with seeking after the pursuit of happiness, but with surrendering my life to God and recognizing my deep need for Him. And recognizing that in the lowest of lows, in the poorest of poor in my spirit, I can have joy because mine is the kingdom of heaven. So, you and me, our goal, our action item from this is to spend time finding where we need to be poor in spirit in our own life, right? Where is that? Is it recognizing my need for God in my finances, recognizing my need for God in my relationship with my family, recognizing my need for God in that specific work situation, recognizing my need for God in X, Y, and Z, my struggle with pornography, my struggle with alcohol, my struggle with whatever, like, you name it. where do you need to recognize that you are poor? And then when you recognize it, you'll be looking at what it means to be a citizen of heaven, what it means to inherit the kingdom of heaven. And that is recognizing your own need. All right. Love you guys. See ya.